Welcome, Internet, to the Play Some Video Games podcast, also known as the PSVG cast. I'm Elaine. Clearly, I'm back together with the group of chuckleheads that I call friends. Dev, what the hell is on your face?
I like it.
I mean, it's California. We're indoors. I got to wear a mask.
It's a mask mandate.
So it's a mask mandate. So
is that the Razer one that lights up?
It is the Razer one that lights up. It's pretty cool.
Is it? It's what do they call it? The Zephyr? Is that what they called it?
Zephyr.
What stupid name did they give it? You are very online right now. You are an incredible internet superstar.
You like
it's all meta, right? It's meta. Fire Rise.
See, it would be cooler if it had a screen that you could have scroll stuff in front of you.
Yeah, that'll be like version 3.0. And there's a version 1.0 that has like a voice amplifier coming. So
no, what? No, ugh,
yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
No. Delvin is really. We're going with the Spider-Man, Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good today.
Yeah.
That's where we've decided to go. Is that? Are you actually sick, or do you just feel like being sassy?
No, I'm actually kind of feeling sick. But I'm okay.
Ew! Keep it over there, Florida man.
Yeah,
Don't
Another reason why I have the mask on.
That was smart.
I just gotta protect myself.
Florida's trying to kill me. I've already just.
Oh, that's
came to terms with that.
That's always been the case.
Yeah, that's not new.
There's a Bugs Bunny meme of him cutting Florida off the United States for a specific reason. We just can we just yeet that into the ocean?
Jersey first.
I'm old enough.
Nah, Florida's the one. Florida's worse, and I'm saying that from Jersey.
We need to keep Jersey because Jersey will go ahead and yeet Florida. But the thing is, we're gonna lock them all in there, so they're both gone.
Here's the thing about Jersey.
I mean, South Beach is nice, though.
Yeah, not the people. I've been there.
Oh, no, the people are very nice in South Beach.
No.
They are.
He's got a point.
There's so many other places you could go, Donnie.
A lot of World Star videos happen there.
Ugh.
Not the good ones.
Right. Yep. Right. How you doing, Donnie? You're here, too.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay?
I just finished Goodfellas. I've got a drink in my hand. Play a lot of video games.
It's good.
Feeling good. I'm okay.
I haven't seen Goodfellas in a long time. That's a good movie.
I watched it last year. I feel like I've watched that movie 25 times. I absolutely love and adore that movie. But for whatever reason, I was in the mood today. So came home, made dinner, and put on Goodfellas.
Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Okay. This makes sense. Big fan. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of my favorites. All right, Delvin, why don't we start with you? Are you like playing video games or are you just ill and dying?
Well, I've been playing some video games. I played since the last time I was on. I beat Far Cry 6.
Back in Halloween?
Yeah.
I know, right?
It was
like
November.
a million years ago.
It wasn't back in Halloween. It was
I was like the first week of December. Oh, and he was on the holiday show.
Exactly. I was on the holiday show.
He was on the holiday show.
So. I beat Far Cry 6. Great game. I found the ending a little underwhelming. Me and Dev talked about this. That it kind of was like the final boss isn't really a final boss. Just kind of like, hey, you're here. Congratulations, you finished the game. And I like that fact that it's one of those games that after you finish it, you can continue to play and it makes sense.
Yeah,
while you continue to play. So I enjoyed my time with it. Danny's an amazing character. I think I said on the XP earlier this week when we recorded that I hope we get more. I hope they go the Assassin's Creed route and we get some DLC in terms of, hey, here's some more Danny story DLC as opposed to. I know they already named the stuff like with the villains of Far Cry, but maybe they'll do an expansion.
Well, that's the extra mode. They've got DLC coming as well, which is we're getting Stranger Things. We got the Danny Trejo stuff. So we know that we're getting those DLC packs, but the villain mode, that's just a whole separate mode that you can play.
Yeah. I would love to get more DLC with just playing as Danny and more things.
You mean like an expansion?
Like a straight up expansion, yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if we're gonna get that. I don't think we are, but who knows?
I think it's possible. Maybe.
I mean, look, is it NFT profitable? If it is, then maybe they'll do it. I don't know how any of that.
I would say they
works.
didn't do expansion for 5, but they kind of did with like New Eden or New Dawn.
Yes,
New Dawn, but it was a standalone, and it was. Were you a different character? Did you play a different character?
You're a different
character.
That's
what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So
but it was kind of the same.
Yeah,
it was
you're
basically
a different character, and you got to meet. This is a small spoiler. You got to meet your character.
Yes, you did meet your character. I thought that was cool. I liked that. I would do another one like that, like a standalone game. I haven't played
Mhm.
Far Cry 6 yet, but I hear nothing but good things. So I'm looking forward to dipping into it soon.
I'm also getting into Metroid Dread.
How do you feel about Metroid Dread?
I like it. I don't know what the hell I'm
Good.
doing, but that's a
That's a
good
Metroid
thing.
game. That's a Metroid game.
That's
You're doing
the
fine.
Delvin T-shirt right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I enjoy walking around from room to room, trying to figure out stuff and trying to find these weapons and things. I've been playing. I played it for like a good 3 hours now.
Nice.
Don't know where I'm going. Don't know
Perfect.
what I'm doing. All I
Right.
know is I keep stepping in these rooms and they keep like, "Hey, you want this weapon?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." "Hey, you want to save?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm not. I don't want to say I'm good at it, but I haven't really died a lot in it yet. Maybe because I'm like Mr. Magoo. I'm just like fumbling around in the game.
Oh my God! If there was ever an apt comparison,
Yep, that's.
Yeah,
I feel. Yeah, that's. He needs a T-shirt.
yeah. I
Kind
like
of
Mr.
like
Magoo.
Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, just
Mr. Magoo logo with "I don't know what I'm doing." That is
Yeah, on the and on
somebody
the back it was
make
I don't
that.
know where I'm going.
just
Right.
send me money when you do it. Because y'all ain't finna be getting paid off me. F that.
Oh, we will. Probably not.
God
But,
damn it.
We'll see.
We'll make it an NFT.
We're very conniving. We're good at this. We'll get paid off you if it's possible. But the problem is, well, it's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, I know how to count, so that's a problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
gross.
Unfortunately, one of the few things I learned in school, counting. Sesame Street, the count taught me well. 1, 2, 3.
I like that you said Sesame Street and not Florida Public Schools. It's not Sesame Street.
Florida
Florida
taught
Public
me how
Schools
to-
not so much. Sesame Street though,
No.
yeah.
Florida's public schools taught me how to sell dope and do horrible things in the black community. Nah, I'm not giving them no props.
Yeah, they taught him the metric system. He knows a gram.
Yeah,
He knows an ounce.
Wow. Wow.
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, makes sense.
Use actual weight. Delvin, this is a kilo.
I hate this.
You gotta make
Put it in
sure.
your
move that
backpack.
weight.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Gotta
about
They
it.
move
taught him
that
the
way.
skills you'll actually use in life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you how to sell meth, Delvin.
No. Oh. First, you need the Benadryl. Then
Well, it's home ec.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
home ec, right?
Yeah,
It's not
definitely.
Benadryl. It's the pseudoephedrines, but whatever. Is that most of it? Besides a discussion of your romp through public schools, have you played anything else, or has it mostly just been Metroid and Far Cry?
Just those 2 games, really.
Okay.
Been like trying to rest, getting tired of getting old, I guess. Probably I'm just sick, or just everybody here has COVID and they're just trying to give it to me, so I'm trying to stay away from them.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I was supposed to go to the office this week, but my kid's school is closed currently. Like they're all virtual because of the case numbers being so high. So, and then I've come to find out like 3 of my coworkers have it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay here for January.
Yeah.
Call me in February.
Smart move.
So that's what I'm gonna do because I
sense.
can't. Yep, I'm smart. What about you, Dev? Are you playing video games, or have you been too busy?
Nope.
To play
I have not. It's not even been busy. I just have not had the call to play anything. So I have
feel
played
this.
nothing. I have
feel
been watching
this.
television. Just lots of
What you been watching?
shows.
What you watch?
So I let's see. I watched The Matrix Resurrections. That was awesome.
We can talk
I
about
really
that now.
enjoyed it.
I saw that as well.
Have you seen it, Dev?
Oh yeah, I think man, you talked about. I saw
We
it. I like
did
it.
talk about it. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
We're probably the only people who liked it.
I was about to say I did not love it. Like it was
I
fine,
absolutely
but I
loved
did
it.
not love it.
It
Yeah.
was exactly what I wanted from a Matrix movie.
Yeah, same.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I would be the sole outlier who felt like it was just a movie of throwbacks to another movie that was better. And I watched the first movie the day before I went to see it, and I was
It's
like,
very-
nah, I don't want this. So
It's very funny because I was watching with my wife, and I kind of agree with you, Lane. I think the movie is very smart. I think some ways it tries to be too smart.
Yes.
It almost comes on parody, but honestly, when you think of what the Matrix was and the ride that it was, like that seems fitting. So I was a little torn with that, but with what we got, I honestly don't think I could imagine something else. I think with what they had to work with, I think they did a pretty good job. I liked it.
I agree.
I kind of didn't want it. Like I was good after the third
That's
movie,
fair.
and like I was sitting here like if they can take back sort of the third movie, especially in the second movie, and do something with this that's more satisfying, I would have been super pumped.
Oh, I wouldn't have liked that. I really
Yeah,
like.
I
I really like the third movie. The
I
second
hated
movie is
the third
not
film.
great,
I hated
but
the
I
third
like.
movie.
I
the third
hate it. I will not rewatch the third film. I've watched it twice. I cannot stand
Oh
it.
wow.
And that's just a me thing. I really don't like it.
No,
I
no,
don't
it's not a
like
you
the,
thing. That's a most people thing. But I
The
I've
price
people
always,
like
comparison is like
yeah,
the
I've always
worst.
been in that weird realm where I really like the lore and the back building and the like. 3 I liked a lot. 2,
I liked all of them a lot.
2's bad, but 3 I
One
liked
now
a
see
lot.
2 I liked enough for the fight scenes that it held up to for me. That
Yes.
highway scene was one of the best in the series for me personally. 1 still holds up. Like to
Yes.
this
Of
day,
course.
the first film holds up. So my problem is like I went to see this film with I wouldn't say high expectations. They were in the middle, and I was like, you made me a film that just was a bunch of throwbacks to a better movie. This didn't need to get made, is kind of what I left feeling like. I was disappointed. I wasn't real pumped about it. But I know that it's very
Oh,
I
divisive.
feel
Some
like
I know
most
people
things don't need to get made, but I feel
I
like
just
this was
I felt like
hey,
it was a remake
here's
that did not.
here's
it
a
was just,
fun
ugh.
ride.
Oh, I don't think
Just
it's a remake at all.
Sit down.
It-
Yeah, me either.
It
I
kind
love
of
what it
felt
did,
like
like
a
with the whole the lore of these 2 programs and like the
Mhm.
resurrection. Like this is great,
Oh,
and
It's
dude,
just a love story. It's
It
just
is.
Neo
it
and
was
Trinity.
just a
That's all it
nostalgic.
is.
Yeah, it was a nostalgic nod, but I just wasn't. I was like, the first
When
movie
I was,
is
like,
still so good, you know.
a quarter of the way through it, and I started to understand the premise. I was like, they're trying to be too smart. But by the end, I was like, they actually maybe are like really smart. Like they've done this really well.
Yeah.
They did it. I will
I
say
felt
they
like it
did
was
it the
great.
only way they could have in modern times to go back to the series. Like I just didn't enjoy. I didn't have that good of a time with it. But I had just come off of seeing like Spider-Man in theaters, and that was like a film that like pulled my heartstrings and made me cry and had great sequences. So it's like I just wasn't in the place where I wanted anything mediocre, and this was kind of that for me, I think. But
I have not seen Spider-Man, and I won't until it shows up on my doorstep. So
Same.
I liked it.
I knew it was really good because I immediately started diving into, people's explanations and throwbacks and symbology and meanings, and I was like, yeah, they got me.
Yeah.
Like they got me. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I'm glad you liked it.
me too.
I definitely walked out of it was like, I would have taken the first movie over it 400 times.
Even the Morpheus thing, which I thought was going to be like a nail in the coffin for me. Kinda
Yeah,
dug it.
no,
I
that
thought
one
it was great.
Yeah,
that one
kind of
did
dug
it
it.
for me. Yeah.
That was awesome,
Was-
especially
was
if you know the
supported,
fact that he
was
died
done well,
in,
was pulled off well.
in the game. So
Exactly.
great nod.
What else, Dev? Any other shows or anything like that?
I have been binge watching Star Trek Discovery since I got my booster shot. So Wednesday I have watched seasons 1 and 2, and I am a couple episodes into season 3, and I'm absolutely loving that.
Great
Nice.
show.
I've
so
heard good
good.
things.
And I don't like
It
Star
just-
Trek. That's a-
Neither
that's
do
the show
I.
too.
So maybe that's telling that I should check it out.
Yeah.
I love Star Trek, so so I watched that. It's basically all sci-fi shenanigans
Okay.
nonsense. So I watched The Expanse because that season
I've
came
heard
back.
good things about
and
The
I
Expanse.
love The Expanse. Oh
Yeah.
my god! If you like sci-fi and some crazy politics stuff, The Expanse, it doesn't really get any better than that. Just the politicking between the 3 factions of Earth, Mars, and everybody who lives in the belt, and just the way they're all trying to maneuver is just incredible. The actors are also really good. The acting is
heard good
just
things.
spot on. And then The Wheel of Time. That's an Amazon exclusive. I love those books. Read them way back in the day when they came out, and I love the live action and what it's doing. It's making all the right changes for it to be a show because the books are freaking tomes. So
Yeah.
to be able to try to adapt them and not, fall into the Game of Thrones, we're going to be here for 8 years and it's going to be a waste of your life. They're moving pretty quick through the stuff, and they're hoping to get like maybe 8 seasons out of it. It's 14 books, so we
This
got
is-
a lot to go.
This was how I
It's
felt
so
about.
good.
I watched Witcher season 2, and it makes some choices that both the books and the games did not make, and I was okay with those choices because it is in service of keeping an audience interested who doesn't need all the back politics and all of that stuff. I appreciated what they did. I didn't hate their choices. I think they did a great job. They stuck the landing on that season too. They did a great job. And I want to watch Wheel of Time, but I feel like I just want to listen. I don't know. I might just watch it. I've never read the books. They were never.
If you haven't read the books, I would say just watch the show.
That's what everybody
It's only
says. Yeah.
we're only through season 1. It's only 8 episodes. So I would say watch the show and then read the books.
Okay.
Because what the show does differently, I think it's such a treat if you haven't read the books. If
Okay.
you've read the books, you're kind of like, you're like sitting there like in the edge, like waiting for certain stuff to happen. And I have a friend is watching it also, because he likes fantasy type stuff. So he's watching it, and then like we're having discussions, and there's stuff that I know that I'm waiting to see if he's picking up. Like, what are you pulling out from the episodes?
Sure.
And then he started listening to the book. He's doing the audio version.
I'm watching.
Just like,
I watched the Witcher with my girlfriend, and she has just started the book series and hasn't seen the third game. So I'm like sitting there in that season waiting to see, because there's two characters that they don't reveal the relationships of, and I won't spoil it. There's Amir's relationship to the plot line. He's the leader of Nilfgaard, and then there's Rience, who's the fire mage. He has a relationship to another character that I knew, and I looked at her and I'm like, there are 8 minutes left in this episode. They're going to have to choose one. At the last episode, and I wanted to see. And for me, I knew those relationships, and I'm like sitting there trying not to spoil because I don't want to. She's really enjoying the show and reading the book at the same time. So she's like, wow, they do make some choices. I'm like, they have to. There's so much density and politics in that world. There's no choice.
In any book, honestly, because when you can't like actually get into the characters' heads and hear their thoughts, like how do you portray that on screen? So you got to make changes and cut certain things out because you don't have that inner dialogue. So.
Luckily, Geralt's entire inner dialogue is and fuck. So it's great. It works for the TV show.
Kind of
that's all he really does all the time. Like, that's not just a game thing. That dude just doesn't say a lot. So it's great. You know?
That's hilarious.
So it works. Anything else, Dev, or is that most of the stuff for you?
That is pretty much it. I have been doing absolutely nothing because I've been exhausted. So
I feel
I'm just
you.
chilling.
Donnie, what about you? What you been up to, my dude?
Hello. Hey, guys.
Oh, hi. Oh, hey. It's a kitty.
Hi, kitty.
I have a lot of things, but I have no notes. So I don't even know really where to begin with. But
why don't you pick your favorite things and do those?
Donnie
beat the gunk.
Notes? What is this?
Did you enjoy the gunk? I have yet to
I
start the gunk. Okay.
I liked it quite a bit. It's got a weird thing. About halfway through, there's some conflict. I don't feel like it was like wholly supported.
Okay.
But it didn't bother me too much. I do feel like it was really. I felt like it was adventurous. Like I was kind of digging the platforming and the light puzzling where I wanted to, I wanted to see like what was happening. It was intriguing. It might be the best way. Halfway through, I was really intrigued to see where this was going. I thought it was good. It's not a great game by any means, but such a big step up for Thunderful Image and Form from what they've done in the past that I was really kind of digging it. So I liked it quite a bit. Great addition for Game Pass. This is a game that I feel like from the design and offering is worth more than $20. So like if I was to price it, I would have put it like $29.99 or $39.99. And at those higher prices, maybe a lot of people wouldn't have bought it. So like it being on Game Pass, I feel it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people can play it. You can play it, like in a weekend and get right through it. So I really enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit. I played Far Cry Blood Dragon. I do not like that game.
Did you play that game upon initial release?
Nope.
Okay.
First time ever. And let me correct myself because I've made fun of it a bit. And because they called it Classic Edition, which based on how they done like some of the Assassin's Creed remakes, I meant to take as like they were just porting it, especially when they're calling it the Classic Edition. I was like, oh, they're just gonna, throw us like a very loose port. They didn't. It's fully remastered. It's nice.
Okay,
yeah, it's really nice technically.
Okay.
I just don't. I almost feel I've heard so many people talk about it for so long. I feel bad even saying this. I just don't like it. It took me about 2 or 3 hours before I was like, this is not. It's not what I had in mind. I realize like the Archer insanity, funny action, over the top stuff. I understand the cultiness that people are probably attracted to. It just doesn't feel like a Far Cry game.
It's not. In a lot of ways, it's an 80s parody crammed into a Far Cry like mechanical system. And I think that if you're going into it looking for a Far Cry game, I can understand
why I feel like
it
it's slow. Like it doesn't. It's slow and like plotting, and it didn't feel very like swift. And I didn't dig the guns, and I was just like, I just don't like it. I didn't like playing.
Isn't that what Far Cry was in that era?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, it's tough because you're going back to Far Cry 3. for this experience, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And that was a different era for these games. They definitely sped up and got snappier for a lot of people at 4 and 5. So it is hard to go back to, especially if you have no nostalgia and you're not looking for that like almost Demolition Man 80s vibe that it has going on.
I wish they would make a Demolition Man game.
It is kind of
right?
It's a spot on. That's a spot on comp.
Yeah,
like, it is
Demolition Man is the one that my mind immediately evokes when I boot into that game, and it is slower.
But not serious. Just very much like...
it's a parody of Demolition Man almost in tone. Yes, I agree with you.
I thought was fine. But yeah, after about 3 or 4 hours of just going through some missions, doing some escorts, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I understand.
So I deleted it. I played it beat BioShock on Switch.
Still, it runs super well on Switch, surprising to me.
Yeah,
I thought it was very serviceable. Great game.
So funny. I went through it because I was like, I've never played BioShock 2. I bought this collection. I was like, but I want to replay 1 before I play 2. I replayed 1, still haven't touched 2.
So
I don't really... After I did 1, I was like, I think I'm good for a while.
That's fair. If you do return to 2 and play it, I will say play the Minerva's Den DLC because it is better. For me, it was better than both 2 and 1. I just really liked that story and that chunk of DLC. It stands alone.
I've always heard the DLC was great.
That DLC is exceptional, and I really, really like it. And I think a lot of people didn't love BioShock 2.
Yeah.
So they didn't play it, and that bums me out because it is better than the whole of BioShock 2. The whole of it, it's better than. So
I didn't play the second one because I feel like a lot of people didn't like the second one, but I thought it was funny because I was like, I'm gonna play the first one and then I'll play the second one, and I just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you did the classic like, oh, I want to play this third game, but I have to get through these 2 first, and then you burn out. You know what I mean? That's like a very classic. Like, I do this
one day. BioShock one day. Maybe I'll play BioShock 2. Probably not.
I've never played either of the first 2 BioShocks. I've only
BioShock 1 is so
BioShock
good.
1 still holds up. It still holds up to this day. I really think it's worth it. It's a really good like borderline horror dystopian experience. It is exceptionally good.
Definitely
it is
my
still
jam
creepy. Yeah, love it.
It's like
love
a crazy medical institutional carnival type stuff.
You'll appreciate this.
Nuts.
I have a friend who, as a gift, made a paper mache version of one of the splicer masks.
Nice.
There we go. For the camera. But it's sick.
Nice.
And she sent it to me from the UK, and it's like one of my most coveted, like, little... I love it. So
that's cool.
This sits by my computer. I love this. What else, Donnie?
I did the Far Cry DLC. I got Danny Trejo's tacos, and I also repelled the insurgency.
Woo!
I went ahead and did that for a couple hours. Yeah.
Sweet.
And I was just like, man, how great is Far Cry? I like the Danny Trejo's tacos mission. You have the one mission, which is basically just like a horde. You just protect them. That's not that big deal. But then you have the expedition. That's what they're called, right?
Is that when you have to go out and do things?
You forget. You go to the special ops lady, and then she has a special operation. I thought it was called an expedition. Maybe they have a different name. But you go and you do that mission with Danny Trejo. And you essentially have to go... I like these. The expeditions are cool if you've never played them. They basically throw you in a world with no map. And you have to go take out an objective. It's like a smaller world, but it's big. It's not like a base. It's like there are multiple bases in this world. And I had to go infiltrate a base and then get their weapon that they were going to use to, melt everybody. And then you have to transport the weapon back to safety, but you have to keep it cool because it heats up and it'll explode. So I had a lot of fun with that. But a cool thing about the expeditions that are fun, if that's what they're called, I don't even know if that's correct. Again, I don't have notes. And I played this like 2 weeks ago, so I'm running off of fumes over here in terms of memory. The cool thing about it is that there's like hidden stuff in the level that you can go find if you want to go and explore, and you jump on all the buildings and go through all the rooms. There's like, a hidden key badge and stuff like that. So I did that and had a lot of fun. So
nice.
I'm still going to keep playing Far Cry 6.
Sweet.
Aspire Inna's Tale is an indie game that you may have seen. It was recently released. You may have seen screenshots and stuff from it. It is a Gree-like experience.
Writing this one down.
Switch, but it's not as good.
It's hard to be as good as a game that made me cry without words. So
really, it's the right word. Blocky, crunchy in terms of movement.
Okay.
It's not as floaty and smooth.
Yeah, Gree
also,
was very floaty.
It's kind of stuttery as the screen side scrolls.
Okay.
on
Is
Switch.
I was going to
On
say, is this
Switch.
available on
I was gonna say,
PC
it's like a
or
Switch
a
it's available
console with some
everywhere.
beef?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll just.
And I also didn't play it docked because if you didn't see my Nintendo Switch U in review, I'm basically a 90% Switch portable player. So I just tried it portably and I gave it about an hour and I just quit and uninstalled it. So I've been wanting, there was a point in the break, if you can't tell, because I'm not even like halfway through all the stuff that I've been playing. So if you can't tell already, I really dove into games on this little break. Didn't have any podcasts to do, didn't do anything. So I was just like playing games. And in a lot of ways, I really disconnected. You probably didn't see me a whole lot in Discord. Twitter was very much like a one-way experience for me the last couple weeks, where I'm posting stuff that I want to post, but not really paying attention to any of my friends. It's just kind of like a one-way thing. And I just really dove into games. And for whatever reason, I was digging I really wanted like big production stuff. I was like, man, I want to play like something really cool. And that's why I played BioShock. And then after I beat BioShock, I was like, I want to play something really cool. Like I want more of this. And for whatever reason, I was kind of in like a stealth mood.
Oh,
and
you played Metal Gear?
At first I was going to play The Last of Us, but I just replayed The Last of Us when I got the PS5. And I thought to myself, I was like, I'm going to give Last of Us 2. And I was like, I'm not ready. I can't do this again. So then I thought, I'm going to play Horizon because I'm getting pretty excited for Horizon Forbidden West. And then I came across the Gaia cast. You guys listen to this yet? The podcast, the Horizon, the official Horizon podcast?
I never listen to this kind of crap. I never do.
I've never even heard of it.
Horizon. I do listen to this stuff, but I don't want anything. I just want the game.
Yeah, I want to just go to that game.
PlayStation has released Horizon the Gaia cast, which is a basically a retrospective where these folks go. It's just a huge deep dive on Horizon. To be honest with you, the reason I put it on my list here is if you don't have time or you don't want to replay Horizon, I understand it's a tall task. I think this is an adequate way to get reacquainted with Horizon before the sequel. I had forgotten so much about Horizon. I have played and beaten the game, and I had forgotten so much. I'm listening to them, and they're explaining all these different characters. I was like, oh, yeah. All of this sci-fi stuff happened. I completely forgot.
The story really stuck with me. I still think about the beats of that story and the twist of that story. Burned. Like that one is burned in. There's something about the way that story unfolded for me that I can't forget. It's so good. I'm glad you're experiencing like some of that. Oh wow, right again, because
it's just nostalgia. And it feels like it's been a long time too. Like I realized I didn't realize how long it's been. Either.
Yeah, it has.
So it's been a minute.
I still have to play the Frozen Wilds DLC. The problem is it's not a standalone, so I don't remember how to play the video game. You know what I mean? But I want to play it because I know that
same problem.
So once I go back to 2, I'm not going to want to double back. So I have this very difficult situation where I'm almost on the border of replaying some of that game from like a save that's not quite end game, just to reacquaint my brain, and I want to play that DLC. So I'm kind of dancing on the edge.
Nice. I hope you do. Well, the cast is great. They did an entire episode on Aloy. Then they do an entire episode of like Aloy's like supporting characters. Then they do an entire episode of like the world. Then there's an entire episode of like the lore and the conspiracy and like stuff that's alluded to but not fully explained to the game. But like you have the writers that are like, here's where we're going with this, and here's the inspiration.
That's cool.
I'm just digging it. I was all into it for a while there.
Good.
So I decided to play Metal Gear, and I started playing Metal Gear Solid 5. And then I played like 30 hours of Metal Gear Solid.
I loved Metal Gear Solid 5 and did like everything there was to do in that game. There was something about that open world for me personally. I just went bananas with that game.
Super fun. And so I was digging that. And when I last left the podcast, I had mentioned to everybody that my daughter had tested COVID, tested positive for COVID. So she was in isolation. We had a fear that Jack was also positive. He was in isolation. We were running into a lot of problems. We had an internet outage one day, and the kids were just like lost without it. Like, I can't watch anything. So I came across this. I was like, I need Blu-ray players. Like, I need to find some DVD Blu-ray players. And I started looking around, and the thing that dawned on me that I don't think I was ready to, not something that I didn't expect in 2021. Cheap Blu-ray players from like Sony or Sanyo and stuff are not like well received. They're pretty terrible, especially for the streaming apps and stuff. And they're still like $70 or $80.
Correct.
I was expecting to like walk into Walmart and get a Blu-ray player for like $20, and that was not the case.
No.
So I just
Gotta
bought
go
a
to CVS for
PlayStation
that.
3 instead. And then when I bought a PlayStation 3, I just started playing Metal Gear Solid because I was sticking Metal Gear. I was like, I'm just gonna play Metal Gear Solid. So I bought this PlayStation 3, but I actually bought a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4 because the guy that had the PlayStation 3, if you guys haven't priced hardware for a while, they're not super cheap right now. Now is not a buyer's market. Like everything is expensive. So I wanted a PlayStation 3, and I'm not paying $200 for a PlayStation 3. It's absurd.
Yep.
So this guy had a PlayStation 3 and a PS4, and I talked him down if I could get both. And he happened to have the Uncharted 4 Collector's Edition PS4 that had the box, he had the headphones, he had the controller, everything. So I just got it all bundled together, and I brought it home and started hooking it up, and I got Jack hooked up, and I got Victoria hooked up, and then I ended up putting the PS4 in my cubes, and I started re-downloading all my stuff over there. Me and my wife have been playing Hot Shots Golf. I've been playing Metal Gear Solid. I've been trying to show Jack Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, you need to love this game. Because Metal Gear Solid is such a big deal.
You need to love this.
Right.
That works so well with children.
One Metal Gear Solid, like
that
the
works.
Original one?
The original one it's still good.
I have the collector's thing. I've always had that. I've had the collector's thing on my shelf. I started re-downloading. Boy, I do not miss downloading.
The PS3 store is bad.
It's not just downloading. It took me days to download and install. I forgot how long it took to install digital games. Here's the thing, Elaine. The digital store is not bad. They've improved it quite a bit. It's much better than I last remember it.
It's not anything like any modern day store, though. It is such
it is actually. It is exactly like the PlayStation 4 store. I think they've replaced it. That's the thing. But if you don't remember, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, if you logged into PlayStation 3 or a Vita and you went into your download history, you had to sift through everything.
Yep, I do, because I did that over COVID in the beginning of the pandemic to make an archive of every digital game I own. So yes,
you don't have to do that anymore. When I logged in PS3, everything was filtered for PS3.
You can totally do that now.
It was beautiful. I was like, this is much better than I remember it. The downloading part wasn't too hard, but installing everything took forever. I got my Infamous downloading and all that stuff. So
this is why I don't get rid of consoles, because I have
I still have my
drives
PS3
in both of my PS3s, and they have all the games in there.
Mine's the Fat Boy that still plays PS2 and PS1 discs too.
Mine too. I have the Fat Boy.
It's the monolith. I love it so. I love it so.
Me too. It's beautiful.
The piano.
It still looks small now compared to the PS5. So
after about 30 hours.
Yes, I have them both hooked up next to each other. It does. Yeah. It's small now.
After about 30 hours of Metal Gear Solid 5, I restarted Breath of the Wild.
Of course you
did.
And
I have since played about 30 hours of Breath of the Wild.
I've been seeing you tweeting about that.
Yeah, I've been playing it for about a week now, and I've been having fun with it. I'm doing exploits now, which I've never done before. This would be like essentially my 4th time playing, and I've played through 3 times. I've never done any of the glitches. Now I'm doing some of the glitches. So I've got like 30 hearts. I've got full stamina, like right out of the gate. I've got like crazy fast travel, which is weird because you think you do all that so you don't have to do the shrines, but I'm completely loving doing all the shrines again. And so it's basically just allowing me to like go wherever I want, whenever I want to. In that regards, I'm having a lot of freedom. I'm in that weird sweet spot where I understand where everything in Breath of the Wild still is, but I've completely forgotten like all the details. Like I don't remember any of the recipes. I don't remember the shrine puzzles. There are so many things that I have just, have lost memory of that I'm enjoying it. So me and my son the other day, we just sat there for like 10 hours playing Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
So I've been doing that. And then I started playing a Plague Tale just this week as well, because Plague Tale Requiem comes out. It's coming to Game Pass. And I wanted to play it. This is a game that I'm giving it a second chance. And I wasn't particularly fond of my first experience with it. I played through like the opening act where you go from, you meet Amicia, her little brother, what happens to her family. You go through the village and you fight like your first boss. And I was like, is this it? Because mechanically it's a lot like The Last of Us. It's like this stealth sneak around. You have a slingshot, but you don't really have combat. It's basically just the stealth mechanic of The Last of Us. And I didn't dig it then. I'm a lot further now. I'm chapter 8 or 9 now. I think I'm almost maybe halfway. It gets a little bit better in terms of the tools and things that you get. I'm still not digging the story so much that the mechanic loop is really doing it for me. I think I'm liking it. Like my opinion on it has improved, but not as much as I was maybe hoping for. I just I don't know. And I don't know I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I also don't know if maybe, I mean, obviously if it's coming to Game Pass, there's nothing wrong with giving the second one a try. But at this point, I'm just like, maybe this is just not for me.
It's okay to cut your losses on a game or a book or a show or a movie. Like, it's okay to have that happen.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people feel like once you start something, you have to finish it. Because a lot of us in our generation were taught that. Like, oh, you started the season of football, you have to finish it. Oh, that was like it's a generational learned thing, especially in our generation. And like modern kids are better about letting things go. One, because they have far more choices. And two, because I think younger people are starting to learn to value their time more. And I think we need to learn to value our time more. You know, in some ways that means saying no to something. And in some ways that means like being like, I don't have to finish this if I don't like it. You know, so
it's really nice on next gen hardware. Technically, it's great. And the story is getting to a point where I'm like, maybe they're going somewhere interesting. I just don't know if like the geysers of rats, like, you know, the manifestation of what this plague world is for the game is sitting with me. And then like this little brother thing, the little brother kind of annoys me.
It's fair. I felt this way through a good half of God of War. So because I wanted to smack that damn kid. I really did. And it was really hard for me. I enjoyed playing the game, but I just wish I could mute him and just read his subtitles about half the time. So I feel you on stuff like that.
People love this game a lot.
It's supposed to be excellent. I haven't gotten around to it. And I think
that's the thing is I'm wondering, like, is there a story beat that I haven't gotten to that sets the hook?
Not what I played of it, I liked a lot of it.
Yeah. I think sometimes you walk into a game and you just like it for right off.
I do wonder if this one also like outperformed people's expectations. Maybe it caught them by surprise.
There's a lot of that, and it came off like an indie game. It was you know, but it does not play or look like one. So I kind of get it, you know.
Yep. So I don't know if I'm done with it or not. I might give it another play session, and if I'm not digging it, then I might bounce. Okay. About a month or two. Oh God, has it been 2 months? It might have been. At some point in time, a while ago, Coach Mo had come across a Gears of War Elite controller. That a friend of his wanted to sell. That I wanted extremely badly. I've wanted this controller forever. For those of you that have one, if you don't already know, it's extremely rare and it's really expensive. Those things easily sell for $500, $600 a piece. You don't see them often. Obviously, I'm really particular about the condition of my controllers, so I don't want to buy somebody's junk. I want a nice one. Coach Mo finds a nice one, gets it to me for a really sweet price. I buy it. Coach Mo takes a few weeks for him to ship it. He finally ships it to me. I get an alert on my phone, Christmas Eve. Hey, your controller's here. Christmas miracle. Go out to the porch. There's no controller. There's nothing there. There's no box.
Lovely.
Oh, no.
I reach out to UPS because I'm very concerned. I'm like, it's a very valuable item. It's just not delivered. And they're like, no, we delivered it. UPS has this new weird thing where they won't tell you the address that it was actually delivered to.
Really?
Like when I log in and see it, it just says delivered to Dallas, Georgia. I'm like, where?
They don't.
Like, we can't tell you.
When you log in and click shipment facts, it doesn't show you. It shows me.
No, I don't think so. Because I went to the UPS store and they're like, we will show the shipper the address, but we will not show the recipient. So I asked Coach, I'm like, hey, go log in. He sends me a screenshot, says the exact same thing. Coach goes to the UPS store and they're like, no, that's the address we sent it to. And he's like, but he doesn't have it. And they're like, oh, we can't help him. So I file a claim. It's completely gone. I went as far as going to my neighbors.
I was going to say, did you check with your neighbors?
I did check with my neighbors, and I checked with every house that's 114 in my neighborhood.
I was going to say, I've done that before too.
Wow.
Yeah.
One lady, I thought almost going to call the cops on me. Her dogs were going nuts. She came out and she was like, please leave. Like she wasn't having it.
Wow.
And I was just distraught. I was like, this is lost. It really burned me. And I think Devin will appreciate this. I didn't like the fact that I was so close to it and to have it like lost. So I went crazy and manic and I found somebody and I talked them down on one. And I bought another one. And I got a good price on it. And it comes with the original box and everything, and it's like brand new. Nice. And I got it at a very acceptable price. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and it should be here tomorrow. And I was very excited.
Nice.
Got an update from Coach Mo today that my claim has been updated They wouldn't even tell me what the status of my claim was. It says contact the shipper. Coach Mo gets it. It says the delivery's been rescheduled. Maybe they found it. Maybe they delivered it to somebody. They brought it back. Who knows? I might have 2 of these at this point.
It fell off a truck. It fell into a crevice in the truck. This is not the first time I've seen this with UPS.
Yo, let me tell you about what I had
happen. They said they delivered
happen.
some stuff, and it's still in the truck.
I wasn't even going to bring this up. But now I feel like I have to. I had nonsense happen this week. I went on GameStop. I had gift cards. I wanted a headset for the PS5, so I wanted to snag that Pulse one in the Midnight Black, the Sony one, because it's slick and my friend has it and it's comfortable. And I was like, cool. I order it and they do same day delivery in my neighborhood, which essentially means DoorDash or Postmates picks it up and brings it to you, and it's free. So why not, right? Sure, bring it to me. Get the text, it's picked up. Then the text, it's out for delivery. Then a text, it's been returned. And then a text, my order has been canceled. Go to GameStop. GameStop doesn't show the order is canceled. And so I call up GameStop, or I go text chat, and they're like, no, we show it as out for delivery. And I'm like, here's the screenshots. It's definitely not. And they're like, it'll show up. Then I go to Uber Eats, because they're the ones, Postmates or Uber. They won't help me at all. They're like, contact the shipper. And I'm like, here are the screenshots of the text. The freaking carrier grabbed the item, marked it as returned and canceled, and then went off with it, probably. More than likely. It never showed up. But called up GameStop's actual customer line. They freaking refunded it and immediately shipped me another one. So I have to give them super big props because they believe me right away. I was like, I have text, and she's like, no. I got you.
Did you know that you cannot call UPS anymore?
Yeah, no, you have to go to a store.
There is no UPS customer service.
There's
it's
chat,
all
I
100% automated.
Yeah.
You cannot get to an agent.
This FedEx is still pretty good. I hate saying that.
I don't think I'll ever ship with UPS again. It's been a disaster.
I won't use GameStop same-day delivery in my neighborhood ever again for this reason. I will just have them shipped to home on everything.
It's been so hard just to even get help. I'm like, somebody please. I filed the claim. Coach Mo didn't file. I filed the claim. They're like, it's been resolved, and I can't even get an update on what has been resolved.
Dude, what?
That's so ridiculous.
So, long story short, because we got to get to the news. I may have 2 of these controllers. So if somebody out there wants one and wants to buy one from me, let me know.
Talk. We could maybe talk. And before we get to the news, let me talk about video games really quick.
Yeah.
Because I have a few. Donnie, you're going to be restricted from now on to 4 items. Good.
Absolutely
God.
not.
I still want to know about that Matrix
Let's see. I finished Ghost of...
I don't even remember what that was. Carrie-Anne Moss wore a Matrix dress. It was a gorgeous dress. It was black and green lines down it at the premiere. Yeah. I sent it to my wife, and
the green...
something happened where she was like, I don't even understand what you sent me. I'm like, what do you mean? It's Carrie-Anne Moss. She was like, who? I was like, it's the Matrix. She's like, what? So we watched all the Matrix movies the 3 days before Resurrections hit HBO. So we did a Matrix marathon. And I was explaining all of it to her. I was like, so you don't get this. It's like, what if this is a simulation? But is it? But is it a love story? And these are programs. And she's like, you're a dork.
And also that dress that she wore, they weren't just green lines; they were actual.
Yeah,
it was character.
I was like, this is so cool.
And it said the name of the designer in them. It was very cool. I don't remember who it was who designed it, but it was very cool. She's gorgeous still. News at 11.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna make this quick because we should get to the news. I finished Ghost of Tsushima's story. It made me cry twice. The ending made me tear up. Yay. And midway, 2/3 of the way through
it made me cry. Yay!
It had
because it's a good story. I totally get that.
It's really good because it is very rare
because you have no heart, Donnie, and couldn't finish the game.
It's not just that; it's very rare that a game sticks the landing on the ending, and I felt that it did.
Yeah.
And I felt that the choice that you were presented with at the end of the game, even though it doesn't actually change anything, it does for a personal moment for Jin. It was exceptionally good. I picked to honor his ask. I did what he asked me to do because I felt as if that's what Jin would have done. Yep. So I will play the DLC eventually. I'm not in the mood at the moment, but I'll go back around to it. I also cried at the part with the horse. I also cried at the part with the horse in Red Dead Redemption as well. I don't like it when just my whole heart.
Man,
I really just.
I'm like that. That was my horse.
That sucked.
So I finished that. I messaged Dev about it. Like,
I couldn't even talk about it. I couldn't even talk about it. I was with children when I got that part done. I had to take a minute. Like I needed a minute. I was tearing up. I started Deathloop, and so far I really enjoy it. I like it a lot. I like that it's an arcane Leon game, and it feels it. It's funny, and the loop is great, and I really enjoy it.
Is it Majora's Mask?
No.
Somebody who really doesn't like Majora's Mask.
I don't like Majora's Mask. I hate Majora's Mask, but I like roguelikes, so you have to understand that I don't hate
that doesn't
the
help
loop.
me then. Never mind.
It's got some things. Well, hold on. It's got some things in it that let you collect stuff to carry things forward loop to loop. So that for me was enough, and it's fine. So I love what it does. I think it's funny. It's written really, really well. So, and then I went back to playing Destiny 2. Because here's the reason. I finished Halo's campaign.
Hit the booze on the
sit down over there. I finished the Halo Infinite campaign, and I said, boy, I want to shoot more shit. Thanks, Dev. I want to shoot more shit, but I want to shoot more shit more fun than this. Sorry, y'all.
It's treason.
So I went and booted up Destiny 2, and I was like, I'm confused about it immediately drops you into that new mode thing with Xur, and I was...
Game show, yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'm shooting things and I'm having fun all over again, so who cares? And I'm playing the Beyond Light campaign stuff right now, and I really like it.
It's a really good story.
I like that story. I like running around and shooting things. I like how good those guns feel, man. There is just nobody better in the business at making guns feel good.
Yeah, I have to agree, 100%.
So I dip into that thing.
It's a different feel altogether with Doom.
It
is different, but it's also better.
It's
not.
No, they're two different games to me. They're two different games because you have I love.
You said there's nobody better at making guns feel good. They can be two different games of guns, but I love.
I think the guns in Destiny 2 feel overall better than in Doom. I just do
because there's more so much weightier. Like
there's more options. Like there's more types and options, and I like that. I also like the mix with I play a Titan class that has melee, and I like the mix of those two things together. It's good. It's fun. I bought
punch all the things.
I bought whatever season thing was on sale at the time for Beyond Light, so I've got the season pass for this current season, and I'm like, okay, give me stuff. So I'm still trying to figure out how to make that game work because they've changed so much from the last time I played it. I'm like, what do I infuse? What do I need to do? I'm so confused, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
so
you'll have that.
Yep. And the last thing is I popped in an expanded memory SSD for my PS5. And it took me all of 5 seconds, and now I have all the memory. It feels
excellent.
Real good. And Destiny 2 is running off that SSD, and I could not even tell if you asked me to. So
yeah,
it's great.
All the speeds.
Give me all your datas. So that's it for me. Donnie, tell us of the news.
You know what time it is? It's time for PSVG News. Doesn't matter what you're into. PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or PC. The crew's got you covered. So what are you going to do? Start the game talking now!
Well, 007, the 007, GoldenEye 007 appears ready to be unveiled. This comes by way of True Achievements, which has posted a list of achievements for GoldenEye 007 and has posted in their servers. The game doesn't currently exist, but a port for Xbox Live was leaked early last year, if you guys remember, and never saw the light of day. Jeff Grubb has weighed in on Twitter, and he says the second that Nintendo announced Rare was coming to Nintendo Switch Online, he thought that this was obviously part of the deal. Remember, because Xbox owns Rare and Nintendo still has some publishing rights to 007, that game cannot be published without both of them. They have to be signed off by both of them. So it looks like a port, remaster, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, a modern version of GoldenEye 007 is being ready to be released on Xbox and Nintendo Switch. More details to follow later. Nobody has any idea if it's coming to Game Pass. I think it would. Is it going to have crossplay? I hope so. I'm trying to look at Quake, the Quake remaster, as maybe an example of what it could be. Where that game has crossplay and it was released on both, and it was on Game Pass, and you could also buy it on Switch. I'm hoping that's maybe the way they go for it. It also is kind of up-resed, it kind of has that Turok. It still looks old, but it's sharp and new. I'm hoping that's what it is, because if it is, I'm going to buy the hell of it and play the hell of it, at least for a weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to buy this and play it for a little bit, and then promptly realize this game was a time and place game for me, more than likely.
100%.
And that it probably hasn't aged unless you're in the same room with 3 people saying, "Stop looking at my quadrant," but I'm still gonna do it.
I'm still gonna play. Yeah,
Skull
absolutely.
Mine,
I'll
you
at least
gotta
go
do
through the
that.
campaign.
Yeah.
And I'll unlock some lasers and some paintball, and I'll do some big head mode. I'll relive all the nostalgia
Yeah,
for a weekend
same.
and move on.
Totally same.
Proximity mines on the armor.
Yeah, I will
If it has
totally.
online multiplayer, could be a lot of fun for like, if I'm expecting it's $20 or something like that.
$20. If it's $20, I will totally buy it, play it for a weekend, and be very happy and be very done, and that's fine. So cool. Onward.
Game Pass updates. This was originally going to be in our quick hitter section, but it kind of blew up today. So announced today, Rainbow Six Extraction is coming day 1 to Xbox Game Pass. Siege is coming to PC Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate on January 20th. And buried at the very bottom of that news report, Ubisoft will offer Ubisoft Plus subscription service to Xbox owners at some point later this year, including new releases and their back compat library.
To be clear, Ubisoft Plus will be a separate purchase from Game Pass.
It will be.
People have had a lot of confusion on my Twitter timeline. They intend it as a separate purchase. Extraction coming to Game Pass is their way of saying, look what you could get if you had Ubisoft Plus.
Now, we don't have a price and we don't have a date.
It's $15 usually.
$15
on PC.
Will be the same.
I bet you it's the same. I bet you it's the same.
I did put out. I did reach out to Jeff and I asked him a few things as well as Nick, and obviously this is just conjecture, but Jeff was saying that he thinks that Ubisoft is testing the waters to see maybe how viable Ubisoft Plus is without Game Pass before possibly doing some sort of integration. To which I responded to both of them: is there any chance that maybe Game Pass Ultimate subscribers get a perk or a discount for like early adoption? Because I could very much see it being $15, but if you're a Game Pass Ultimate member, maybe Microsoft has subsidized it to where it's like $10. So it's essentially kind of like an added tier, but not included. I think
Ubisoft likes money too much.
I think
to make
that's
that
plausible,
happen to me.
though.
It's plausible, but
It'll
I
be
could see
an
Ubisoft.
NFT.
Oh, for God's sakes! I could see Ubisoft seeing success with a $15 model. They could
could I,
also offer
for sure.
a tier where you get it on PC and Xbox for one price. That is more likely than.
That's what I want. Like,
Yeah, I would like them to say-
that's what they're doing with Stadia. So I expect
Right.
that to be the case.
So I expect them to
They'll
say
do
like
both.
$20 if you want 2 platforms or something like that, which knocks $5 off each side. That's more what I would expect as opposed to a tier in Game Pass. But we'll see, and it'll be interesting.
We'll see. It's very exciting. I think it's worth pointing out there was absolutely no mention of any other consoles, not even vaguely.
Correct.
So this is either EA Access came to Xbox first and was there for a while before it came to anything else. So it's either like that, like they either want to integrate that way, or is it possibly Microsoft cutting a check?
Ubisoft has been known to do it on one system first. I could see that happening. Ubisoft likes money and they like working with everybody. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think this is exciting. It also is worth noting you get the gold version of their games. Like this is not, you do not get short sold. Your $15 a month is kind of worth it. You get everything, all the DLC, the whole 9 yards. If you play a lot of Ubi games and you buy them day and date, or even in the first couple months, this is a good deal. It's a good deal. So
I did say, because I've been pretty critical over a lot of the conjecture that we've been hearing from Ubisoft over the last year of the future of Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed Infinite and Far Cry Live Service and all this. I'm not really digging this metaverse NFT stuff that they're trying to peddle. But you know what? If I'm getting it via subscription, I'm probably more likely to do it. So I think this will mean that I won't buy like a full-priced Ubisoft game on Xbox ever again.
So I've been waiting for this to come to console because I have a habit of playing most of my Ubisoft games on console, which is why I don't use the subscription service on PC, which is fine. So I would use this quite a tremendous amount because that's just where I prefer to play an Ubi game. So yeah, I might buy in. This is worth it.
But I'm not going as far as signing up and forgetting about it. This is not I'm going to give them $15 a month, 12 months of the year. This is one of those, I will give them $50 a month when they drop a game, and I will keep giving it to them as long as I'm playing the game.
I would keep it for the back catalog of games I haven't played yet. You know, just to have them access to them digitally instead of having to. I own them all. I own them all, but I don't want to put a disc in. I own most of those games physically. So not having to put a disc in is worth the price of admission for me to play Watch Dogs Legions, for me to play Far Cry 6 with all. I also don't own the gold versions of all of their games.
Yeah, I do.
So this is
between me and Kevin. I think we've got them mostly covered.
That's
nice.
I only ever buy the gold version of like Far Cry. that's the one I always get the season pass version of. So,
and I should be clear when I say all of them, I'm really speaking of Far Cry and Creed. I'm not doing Rainbow Six and all this stuff.
I don't do
Rainbow
Rainbow
Six
Six.
coming is a pretty big deal.
That's a big get for Game Pass
for a couple reasons. I want to start there. I expect this year to be a little lighter on the Xbox front and compared to last year.
Yep.
And I think the biggest way that they'll be able to make up the gap until we get to Redfall and Starfield is Game Pass. They need to make sure that they bring bangers with Game Pass, and this is the start. This is a really great start. I'm going to read off some more here.
Read the rest, because this is a great freaking list. Here we go.
We're getting Gorgoa, Elijah, and the Pedestrian. They're out now. And then by the end of the month, Ember, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the Outer Wilds returns, Spelunky 2, and Anacrusis. They all come to Game Pass. Elijah, I want to shout out. That's a Devolver joint. I haven't bought it because I don't think it's for me. It looks like it might be one of those tough pixel platformer combat games, but I really want to play it because there's been a lot of nice things said about it. Dev, you might want to check into that one if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, the Mass Effect collection is a giant
by
deal.
Itself. That's a huge amount of content. Spelunky 2 is a pretty big deal for me because I picked it up on PC and I haven't gotten around to it on console yet. And I'm like, yeah, I love Spelunky. So
I'm going to play Mass Effect 2 for the first time. I've never played it.
I'm glad you're skipping the first one. Read a little recap.
No, I've tried the first one, and I know
you tried the first one. I'm glad you're not trying to do the BioShock thing where you say I should try the first one
I'm going right
again.
to the second one.
Just go to the second game. It's special.
So cool. So I think Game Pass is going to have to be a big deal, and I also think this is a pretty big deal for that game. I
agree.
Don't think I know that I'm not in the demo for Extraction. That said, I don't think a lot of people are really hyped for this game. I know there are fans for that franchise, but this game has been kind of troubled. And I think a lot of people are somewhat skeptical. And throwing it in Game Pass, kind of like Outriders, is going to make sure that they have a definite player base.
Yeah.
And it's also going to make sure that somebody like me, who would have never bought that game,
will at least
I wouldn't have signed up for Ubisoft Plus to play that game, but I will totally play it because it's on Game. I will try.
I will try it on
Extraction. Is it online only? You have to have a team, right?
It's 1 to 3 players. I think you can play it solo. Okay. But
I think you can bot it. I don't know.
Co-op.
Correct.
But I think you can solo it.
This is much like Outriders. You're better off playing it with people, but you could play it by yourself.
Yep.
So that's a big get for Game Pass because that's a
deal.
Significant thing to stick on there. So.
And who knows? Maybe even though Ubisoft Plus isn't part of Game Pass, that doesn't mean that we might not see, as a part of a partnership, more legacy content from Ubisoft come into Game Pass.
I can see them dumping a base
Odyssey,
version of a game or just the standard version onto Game Pass every once in a while, right? And then
Riders
saying,
Republic.
but if you sign up for Plus, you get all of our catalog if you liked this game. It's a great partnership to bring people to their service. It's genius.
Very look at here. Chris says Siege is up for Xbox Cloud right now.
Right now. Yep. Good.
That's awesome.
Go play Siege. I've heard it's good if you want to get into that.
I don't know how much you guys want to get into. Square Enix president Matsuda published a letter to discuss the company's future, where he mentions a lot of the metaverse and NFTs and blockchain and all the things that trending on social media platforms people don't want. But I don't even want to say that because there's obviously momentum behind this. Everybody's doing it. So while maybe the minor gaming echo chamber is seeming adverse to this, there's got to be somebody out there that's wanting it. Not everybody be doing it.
Business people want this. It's making share prices increase, which happened to Square after this announcement. This has nothing to do with consumers and has everything to do with the business side of video games, and I hate it. But
there still has to be some consumers. There has to be some consumer.
I'm not doing it. I don't understand it. What is the point?
I
understand it. I understand. The point is to make money.
Money.
I understand how
I get the make the money point, but
and I also feel like I could understand why.
Why?
See, I think
buying NFTs.
I can understand why people would be interested in something like this. I do.
This is the same conversation we had around cryptocurrency.
It is, exactly.
You know what I mean? We're going through the same loop, and a lot of it is like.
And crypto's huge.
And crypto got huge, and I still think it's stupid because I'm an old lady, I guess.
Same.
You know what I mean? But
I'm not arguing for it.
No,
I'm just
I
trying
get it.
not to just be
throwing
stones at it just because.
It's the same conversation around crypto, and a lot of it has to do with we are a little on the older side in this industry, and we're resistant to change. So
people taking ownership or having exclusive sets in a game or something like that, I actually think could appeal to a lot of people and could make engagement higher and people
Maybe.
could stick with it. And I think for like, especially the live service side, I see a lot of application for something like that in terms of value and keeping engagement going, which then turns to revenue.
This is all about money. This is not about the consumer side of video games. I hope it's not so gross. You know what I mean? Like this is always what happens, right? It gets gross and then they pull it back. So I hope it's not so gross.
The point that I would love for somebody, I think, more knowledgeable to let me know, because I feel like the gaming community as a whole is underselling the fact that I think there is somebody that this is really for. I think there's a lot of people that this is really for. I think like loot grinders and folks that do Diablo for 2,000 hours. I think there's an application to really reward them for their investment into something with something like this. And I think it's a little overly dismissive. Not just us. I just think in general, dismissive, throwing it aside and saying it's a waste when obviously so many people are putting so much into it.
My general philosophy is to take a wait and see attitude on how gross it gets. And if it, from a business point of view, it's so gross that it's consumer impacting, then I have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like, do I have it feels like it could be there.
You're just going to get people who don't play games who then decide to go ahead and create bots to grind for NFTs.
So
it's the same thing as crypto.
That's true.
This becomes the we bought all the video cards. This becomes so yes, it does have the potential to be just as gross.
And then that person who actually plays the game, who's trying to actually grind for this NFT, is not going to be able to get it because there's some bot
cause a rare market, which causes a black market, which
it's the same gross loop we've gone through over.
Yeah, we've seen games do that, but they do it. The developers don't make any money off of it. This is the developers making money off of it.
Correct, which makes it almost grosser because then they can hire people.
Does it though? Because it's like they should be making the money off of it versus somebody else. Somebody with a bot.
How do you make a money off? How does
people do it?
They make it.
People sell Pokemon.
How does the
developer
sets? Make money off something if it's given in game by you?
Well, let's say they create a digital store or a trading place where they get a percentage,
a cut.
Yeah,
like I
that's
said,
how you make a lot of money off something like that.
It's the same.
Imagine what like Fortnite would do in a like Fortnite would do gangbusters.
Donnie, we're gonna move on because that makes me nervous that you evoked I'm pretty
sure they were thinking that 5 years ago.
I'm sure they were.
And complain about microtransactions and online stores and DLC. No, let's bring in the NFT shit, huh? Let's go.
Okay,
this is where this is headed.
Please tell me there's something else in this.
I'm trying to wrap my arms around it, right?
Because it's like Ultimate Team NFTs.
I agree
Let's
with
go.
everybody. To be clear with our listeners, I agree with everybody else. Like, I don't like this, but I'm trying to wrap my arms around why it is and like what potential it may have.
It has a lot of potential to be evil. So
it
not
has
as
the
much
potential to piss off the actual gamers and make money for all the people who just want to grind out crypto type stuff.
Anything that could be used as a generator of income for people who have like no interest in the actual product always feels kind of gross. So like I said, wait and see. But my initial read on it is, this could go so bad.
Get excited for Final Fantasy NFT.
Gross.
Unless it brings down the price of games or allows the developers to put more content in the game so I don't have to pay for it, fuck an NFT.
That's never going to happen. So next story.
It could make more things more free to play.
That's
that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to happier news. PlayStation shed more light on PSVR 2 last night. I don't think particularly, maybe outside of the controllers, they said anything they didn't say before. I just think they said it on CES, which is a bigger stage.
The specs, all the specs were not.
The specs were new.
The resolution, right? Yeah. That was new.
That wasn't.
And the way that it's going to do tracking.
The eye tracking.
Was that out there?
Infrared. Yeah, they've said that before.
And they showed the controllers for the first time.
Yeah, they said that when
and named them. They gave the official name of.
They're the Sense.
Officially PSVR 2, and they are the Sense controllers.
It looks sweet. It looks sweet.
I
wonder
like
how much.
Oculus. It's Oculus.
Of course it is, because that's a successful product. Except this is an Oculus product, not linked to Facebook. So
Meta.
Gamers rejoice.
Correct yourself.
Win number one right there.
The only problem that I see with this is you cannot. To the Quest 2's credit, you can connect it to a PC and drive better VR from.
Well, that's what the PlayStation 5 is. You connect it to
kind
that
of
and drive better
sure,
VR.
but that's not a 3090 Ti, the 3080 Ti card. You know what I mean? So like, it's going to have its limits. But 4K and HDR and the expanded field of view and eye tracking are great. Anybody want to take a bet at how much they're going to charge for this thing? Because I don't think it's under $500.
I don't think you can charge $500 and move it.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the
in a
price of the
Quest
system.
world, I don't
You
think
can't make it.
If you're over $399, I think you're.
Yeah, you can't
think it's
make
gonna
it
be
more than the
$399.
system itself. Like that's
$399
just, they're
They
not going to sell it.
100% can.
They won't sell
Well, they
it.
can.
won't-
I don't think it would be
they can.
wise. I don't think
It won't sell.
Might not, might sell.
$299 is the sweet spot. $399 is okay
Pushing it.
at launch.
I could see this thing going as high as $499.
I could too, but I think that'd be
the controllers themselves they might charge separate for too.
That'd be a
The way
mistake.
they might do this is $399 for the headset, and you can play that with a DualSense.
Yeah.
Another $100 for the controllers. That's why I think we could see
could.
a $400.
I
think it'd be a
that
mistake.
$500.
I think it'd be a
That's my
mistake.
guess.
But you might
that'll
be right.
a huge mistake if they
I
want to
think
move
it
it.
could.
$350.
But I bet you
Quest-
they say
I
the
think it'll
headset
be
is
$350.
$399.
Wasn't
I
the
think-
Quest at $299 now? $249 now.
I forget what you can get the Quest 2 for.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty attainable, and
But-
they have a pretty large head start. So
But that's not a 4K HDR headset,
right,
is it?
but with a USB-C cord, you can connect it to a PC.
Correct,
and
but then you
can
have
do
to
it.
have the PC we're talking $1,500 to $2,000 PC.
No,
to push
no,
that
you don't.
kind of-
I did it.
to
I
push
played
4K.
Alex. I played
In
Alex
4K?
completely through Oculus. Well, Oculus Quest can't do 4K in your
Exactly
in
my
your
point.
eyes, but
But the
it was
PS5 can.
very admirable, capable
Yeah.
HD. I played it completely on just a
Yeah,
regular Quest,
you can-
not even the 2. I don't even know.
I
what
own
the-
a
just
regular
had
Quest.
The regular Quest, and I played the entire thing.
To be clear, I love the Quest. I think it's a great freaking headset. Anything that doesn't tether me to a device with a cord is amazing. If I don't want it to,
I'm
So,
excited to have that conversation with you, but before I want to read John's question.
Mhm.
John writes in and goes, "With the recent reveal of PSVR 2, how excited are you to play it? As a huge VR advocate, this is exciting news that will bring AAA VR games into the mainstream." Which I then responded to him, "Isn't that what Oculus, the Vive, and the PSVR first were supposed to do?"
they were.
I have.
Mhm.
I like Delvin. I think Delvin and I have had this conversation many times.
Yes.
I had PSVR when it came out.
Me too.
I've had Oculus. I've done both. I really like VR. There are some amazing experiences of VR. Personally, I still feel burned by both of those experiences. I think Oculus is a much better experience. You mentioned, Elaine, it's untethered, which makes a world of difference
Yep.
in terms of setup and accessibility.
Yep.
But at the same time, I don't feel like the software content for either platform is to the point to warrant the cost for me. I was just like, there's just not enough content. I felt like I played everything in a matter of like 2 or 3 months.
I do not disagree with you. I feel like the best experience I have with the PlayStation VR was playing Resident Evil 7 in PSVR.
That's a great one.
That and Tetris Effect. Those are the two experiences that
I
I felt
really
made it-
liked Moss, Blood and
didn't play
Truth. On Oculus, the Saints and Sinners, The Walking Dead was amazing.
Yeah.
Oculus-
Half-Life Alyx was great.
Oculus is my Beat Saber machine.
Yeah, Beat Saber is
I
is the
played
one.
Beat Saber as a supplement to exercise. I freaking
Yeah.
love Beat Saber.
Beat Saber, Pistol Whip,
Is that worth
um,
it from a standard?
Super Hot.
Super Hot is amazing.
Yeah.
Is that worth it from a standard consumer point of view? Absolutely not. There's not a big enough catalog.
Not $300, $400, $500 worth.
Do I think this will be worth it in the same way? I think we're going to have the same problem we had with the first PSVR. The
So my
specs will be
biggest
better,
question-
but the software is the issue.
My biggest
Every
question is I'm skeptical. I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I'm skeptical that Sony can support both platforms. And I think a big reason why PSVR 2 looks so much like Oculus is to make it more in line to get Oculus support on PlayStation VR. Whereas before, they had to have a lot of ports made specifically for PSVR. Now you see them,
Yeah.
they ditch the camera, they ditch the move.
Yeah.
They've got the sense, it's more in line. So they should have more Oculus-like support, which is great. Oculus has a really good indie platform, but that big, rich gameplay experience that I think as a core gamer I'm hoping for, I don't think was ever there. And I question whether or not they'll actually devote that amount of resources to it. Or I guess even if they should, I guess is
I don't
another
know.
way of putting it.
I think this is a very remains to be seen. I'm still incredibly surprised they decided to go back to the well on this thing. I really thought
Not.
I thought they were going to.
They
let
were
this walk.
so committed to PSVR.
Yeah, they
We may
believe
not
that.
have seen as much stuff, but they really believe in it. So they are going to.
But they don't
keep
believe in
pushing
it so
and keep
much
peddling it.
that they put their best studios in the projects, like the Vita.
Yeah,
You get
it
a
was
lot
weird.
of AA side stuff,
Yeah.
which is what we're seeing with the Horizon. right?
And
Like
they
they're
got-
doing a Horizon game that they
They are.
showed that appears like it might be on rails, but like you're
It's-
having this first person Horizon experience. We didn't get to see much of it. Maybe it's amazing. I imagine, doing the bow like with motion and stuff will be great. But they're not going to. Naughty Dog's making a VR game.
We don't know
But we
that.
know
You know,
that
they
they
might,
might.
but I'm
We don't
surprised
think
by
they are.
Sony. I'm right. I don't think they are. I'm surprised by Sony going back to the well because they got trounced by the Quest and Quest 2. They just got taken to the house by those things. Those things sold gangbusters because they were untethered, because they are consumer friendly, because you don't need a device to play
they're on
them
the
or even
go.
a TV.
Yeah.
You just pop. You could bring it to a party with enough space and be like, check this out. It had more mass appeal. Still not the level to which VR wants to get to, but they got worked by that. And they're
they've
coming
got
back with another tether me to
Meta
a
money.
console.
Like Meta wants to take it there. That's where Facebook they are invested in VR.
Yeah.
Like this is their thing. They bought out like so many studios, right?
Yeah, I'm shocked.
To make
Not a
VR
ton,
games.
but enough. I am shocked to see Sony want to go back in the ring with them because that's essentially what you are doing with the specs of this thing. And I'm just surprised. I applaud them for going back to it, and I applaud them for spending the dev money on it. And I want to play with this, but I don't know if I X number of $100 want to invest again. I think I'm
in
good.
the same boat. I want it.
think I'm
I
good.
want it to be great. I'm just
Me
not
too,
sure
but-
that it will be.
I think I have a wait and see on this one too. I want to see what people say and if the studios come with the games. That's where I'm at with VR right now. Show me the money, show me the software. So
Delvin, talk to me, man.
I enjoyed my time with VR a lot. But the problem with the PlayStation VR to me was the fact that it was so cumbersome. Like it's setting it up, you got to
Oh my
go through the whole
God.
Oh, it was a
process of
mess.
setting it up.
Yeah, it was
Then
It's a
you
definitely.
have
mess.
these long, ridiculous wires, and
But even with the Quest, for me, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know I just told you to talk to me, but even with the Quest, after I played like my initial month with it, it just went unused for long periods of time.
I can see that. The cool thing about the Quest is you kind of just put it on and you just start playing.
I love
It's
that.
it's just like you put it on, you circle out your play area, and you're good.
Yep.
The PlayStation VR kind of like you put it on, then you gotta estimate your play area. Then it says you're out of range. You're out of range.
Do you remember when it wouldn't the initial box would not pass through HDR? So I
Yes.
would have to shut HDR off on the console output to be able to freaking use it. It was crazy.
You guys were the beta testers. It was a prototype.
Essentially, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I still think Resident Evil 7 was one of my favorite VR experiences. Scared the crap out of me. It was very effective, even with that very clunky, annoying, terrible sensing system. So I want to see what they do.
Yeah,
Bring
I'm
more
excited
Resident
for
Evil.
it. Iron Man VR is great too, so
Yeah.
I would like
Yeah.
to get more things like that.
Totally.
Yeah. We did talk about, before we leave this topic, I think we had a pretty healthy debate, or at least conversation in Discord today. We're talking about their ability to maybe have backwards compatibility. A lot of people have bought these PSVR games from PlayStation 4,
Right.
and or they got them via PlayStation Plus, but they're all built around the camera in a completely different system.
Correct.
I think it would behoove Sony, at least for the first party stuff, to patch that and or release a new version if they can for this new system versus here's PSVR 2 and you can buy Moss again and you can buy Beat Saber again. I think that would be a mistake.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So yes, I agree with you, but it depends on how much work we're talking about. Devs being asked to eat, and how people got to
The
get
thing
paid
that
for
I
their work.
postulated was,
So
with this being Quest-like, my intention, my belief
can-
is that they'll take the
they can
Quest
port-
version, they'll publish some new button commands, UI, and then
I
they
think-
can release that version.
I think you're going to see it on a case by case, dev by dev basis. Whether they can afford to do it as a show of good faith is going to be an individual.
Sony should write
developer.
the check for that.
I think they
and-
should. I don't think they will.
I think a PlayStation Plus VR instant collection like we got on PS5 would make a lot of sense for this.
I would.
Maybe you
really
don't
love-
do all of
many
it,
PS Plus
but
games
maybe-
that are VR right now.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
just saying,
Always
like,
give you a couple.
maybe
There's-
maybe you get the big ones, right? You get Saints and Sinners, Iron Man, Moss, Beat Saber,
I
and
would
make
like-
sure that if somebody's spending hundreds of dollars on this headset, they have multiple things to play.
I would like to see that Resident Evil 4 VR that they had talked about doing dump
Yeah.
onto this thing. I would like to see them go back to the well at Capcom and use that engine to support 7 being pulled back in, and maybe even Village. Stuff like that would be great. I would pay $10 for the upgrade path, like we've seen with PS4 to PS5 games. They could also do that. They could charge you a smaller amount, $5. You get the upgrade. So that pays the dev for their work, because like a lot of these games were made by smaller devs. So it's like Moss is not a huge developer. I would like to see those people get paid for the effort, you know? So it's like I'm of both minds on this one.
Yeah, no, I'm with that too. I just wish I want Sony to pay them.
I think Sony should pay them, but Sony's not going to do that,
like,
you know?
It would be
Sony's
a
not
little bit
Microsoft. They're not going to write
Yeah,
that
to
I
me
check.
as
don't know if
somebody
somebody can
who-
afford to do that.
I
don't think Sony-
they can afford to do that.
They're very tight on their bottom lines right now.
Yeah.
They make plenty enough money to make sure that people can patch a Quest version of their game for their headset.
They do across all their businesses, but their gaming bottom line, their margins aren't as big as you think. So
Yeah, but if
they're not as big as you think.
if you think that they're launching a VR headset to compete with Facebook, but they can't pay somebody to patch a game, those are this is a $1 billion undertaking for them to even remain in the arena.
I don't disagree with you.
That's small pennies in comparison.
But then when they go to their shareholders and say we're giving games away
That's
for free,
that's operating costs to them.
Sure,
if they couldn't afford it, then they wouldn't even be in this business.
but walking to your shareholders and say we're leaving money on the table when we could be charging $5 for an upgrade path for thousands of people, you know how these things go. It's business. Business is shitty. Welcome to the world. You know,
they're readying this new service. Maybe it's a part of that.
hopefully, maybe. All right. What do we got for quick hitters before we hit some questions before we get out of here?
PlayStation Plus games this month. You're getting Persona Strikers, Deep Rock Galactic, and Dirt 5.
Persona Strikers is a good get.
Yeah, it's a good.
That
get.
is what I'm going to
Oh,
say
it's
about
very
this.
good.
Galactic.
That's a good get.
Dirt 5 is pretty. I didn't love Dirt 5, but Dirt 5 is pretty.
Yeah.
Deep Rock Galactic has a pretty. I think it's actually got really good ratings and people really
You
like
love
that
that
game. So
Yep.
He was really into it back. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good get for them.
Yeah.
Death Stranding is coming to PC this
Death
spring.
Stranding director's cut. Death Stranding is already on PC.
Yeah,
Specifically the director's cut. I just want to
Kojima also said in an interview with Famitsu that his next game will blur the line between mediums of entertainment. Quote, speaking of our blockchain NFT stuff, just as the industry is preparing to do the very same.
Kojima's writing an NFT game. Confirmed.
we
And you
go.
know what? I expect nothing less from that crazy fucker. Let's do
I don't
it.
know what he's doing.
I don't care. I'm in. Let's go. I love his
If
shit.
he ain't
so
remaking
much.
Metal Gear Solid, I don't want to hear about it. Damn it.
Maybe he is,
That's all
but
I
it's a
want.
meta game like this Matrix bullshit. Just buckle up, Buttercup.
It's going to be a game that you play by posting social comments on Twitter and posting pins
Okay.
on Google Maps.
Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, that'll be a no from me, dog.
Yep.
It's going to
Hey,
be like
Dev.
an internet scavenger hunt. If you go and watch this video and click on this thing on Reset Era to get this thing and download this, then you win.
God,
You know,
no.
Bungie did that for Halo 2 with that I Love Bees meta thing that they did way back when.
Bungie has done a
let's-
lot of that stuff for Destiny 2 as well, and it
Let's
has
not-
actually
they
been
did.
like you.
So
you
let's
find the
just
stuff,
not
and here you go.
let the people who've done it do it. Dev, do we have questions this week? Okay. I know we have questions. Dev, give us some questions this week.
All right,
few.
all right.
A few.
So since it is the new year, we're gonna start out with some New Year questions. Kyle the Pug asks, "What are the PSVG gang's New Year resolutions? My main focus is to focus on my mental health and improve it every single day of 2022. If you made any resolutions, what's your main objective for 2022?"
It's a tall task just from Kyle in general. You're talking 365 improvements to your daily mental health. That's a lot.
Or I tweet a positive every day.
Yeah, I love your little.
I tweet a
the thread.
positive every day, and it has improved my mental health to sit down even on my crappiest days and say, what is one good thing? I do it every night before I go to bed with my kids.
Like, just
Often.
ruined my joke. Thanks a lot, Elaine.
Shut it down over there, Donnie. All right, what do you do? Do any of you guys do resolutions? I don't do resolutions. So
I typically don't do resolutions
do
either.
resolutions.
I may do some goals.
I set
but I haven't
goals. I
done
don't do
anything
resolutions.
for 2022 at this point.
not yet. Me neither.
I got nothing.
I haven't thought of anything yet.
I have several things in the works. I wasn't going to talk about it, but since nobody else is, I will. I'm doing several things. I don't know to go in depth with what they are, but I took my break very serious and kind of like the changes that I've made around PSVG as a whole, and just know that those changes are being reflected in the things that I'm reading every day, the things I'm looking at every day, who I'm following. Like, I think a lot of times it's very easy to say like things are exhausting,
Yeah.
like with just like the talking sphere. I think I reached that level, like a crescendo at some point, and I've just really turned a lot of that off.
Me
So
too.
that's a big goal
Nice.
of mine. And then, your standard, typical health stuff and all that. So I've got
Yeah,
some things in the works.
To Donnie's point, like I definitely have pulled away from a lot of the discourse about games because talking about them exhausts me. Arguing about them exhausts me. I just
To me, it's not just games.
Well,
like,
yes, media.
I feel like I'm in this.
Yeah.
Put my head in the sand. Like I'm just kind of over it. I'm just kind of over all of it. I'm over being told what I should like, what I shouldn't like, who I should support, who I shouldn't support, who's good, who's bad, what group is good and what's bad. Like I'm just kind of I've had enough of that.
It's too much of
so I'm just
meta
gonna
input to my life.
Do the things I like, play the things I like, watch the things I like, and just do the things I like, and just maybe not talk about them as much.
I am leading.
Exactly where I've been.
I'm choosing to lead with positivity and kindness too. Like there are moments where I could snark about things on Twitter, and I'm going to choose not to do that as much. I think that the more, one thing I have learned from this girlfriend of mine is like you put out there what you want to receive, right? So the more negative you put shit out there, the more negative shit comes back to you. And that's true in a lot of ways. Like when you're that person, people vent to you about their negative when they think you're that person. So I'm trying to have patience and put my good vibes out instead of the bad stuff.
You just type the snarky tweet out, and then delete it.
I do that a lot. I type out letters like when I'm angry. I do the emails for work. Yeah, I do that for work. I turn off notifications if I'm enjoying something and just want to tweet it. And also I just don't respond to the negative tweets, and eventually people get tired of sending them. They just stop because you're not giving them attention. People want it to, everyone wants attention. We're all human, right? We all want interaction. I choose to interact. Neither do I.
Don't feed the trolls.
Don't feed the trolls. So I don't really set resolutions, but I do kind of seek to be better every year. I've got kids to set an example for, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. So
excellent.
Next question.
John 32 says, has a PSVG host ever convinced you to try a game or a new game style which you then ended up loving? He says, even though you were convinced it wasn't for you. His was Ori, thanks to Mr. Downey Eat the Hype Reese and Forrest Minish.
Nice.
Ori's amazing. Kevin got me to try Far Cry 5.
Nice.
And it's one of my favorite games and has become one of my favorite franchises. I never played one before 5, and I never played one before Kevin. Kevin was adamant. He was like, this game is for you. You should play it.
Hey, Dev got me to play Destiny 2 again, and I'm having a really good time with it. And it's fitting a little vibe that I needed. It's legal, and you'll like it.
Crime was committed.
It's not. It's Gotham, bitch. Like, what do you expect me to do over here?
There you go. There
it
is.
So, yeah, I'm enjoying that. So, yeah, this was a good question. Delvin?
I just try every game you guys recommend to see if I like it. That's how my thing's always been. Like, that's one of the reasons why I listen to podcasts and PSVG. Like, hey, all right, maybe it might not be for me, but maybe I can grow into loving it or find something about the game that kind of hooks me. So I kind of like listen to you guys, and sometimes I like write little notes of things that you guys say, like, that I might pique my interest, and I try it.
Yep, same. I think that the positive conversations we have around games definitely feed what I look at.
I always take Kyle up on his indie recommendations. I think Kyle and I have a lot of overlap on the indie space.
Cool. Dev, do you have anything for this? Okay.
I do not.
Dev likes what he likes, people, and that's to be respected as well.
Truth.
It's to be respected as well. I get that. What else we got,
right.
Dev?
Let's get some shenanigans in here real quick. Let's see. TPR says, welcome back, Elaine. He completely forgot that Delphin was also gone because nobody wants to welcome back Delphin.
Nobody cares about me.
Hello. He says, all right, what are the best ice cream toppings that aren't sprinkles?
Fudge.
Caramel. I don't like fudge as much as
I was
going to
say caramel.
Yeah.
Caramel, baby.
I'm tired of this damn love fest.
We are the same person. He's just got a better beard.
He started this show not to get ganged up on every damn episode.
We're not ganging up on you. We just happen to both like caramel. We didn't say fudge was bad.
Not just caramel.
It's just better.
I know the DMs.
He's mad about
I see the
Destiny.
comments.
He's
Shut up. It's not just caramel.
Oh, Jesus.
Caramel, my ass.
I don't want to caramel your ass. I'm good. I just want caramel on my ice cream, not your ass. You know what? You talk about that with your wife.
Caramelize me, baby. It's a real song.
Oh, God.
It's amazing.
I hate this. Delvin, please help.
I am an old man when it comes to ice cream. I just like the ice cream, like vanilla. I don't need any toppings on it. I'm fine with it.
You eat plain ass vanilla ice cream.
When you were a child.
No,
when you were a child, what did you do? You didn't just throw all the stuff on there?
No,
I dumped all them sprinkles up on there. Yeah.
All the sprinkles, all the gummy bears, all the walnuts.
Mixes, right? Like
not really. I don't
stuff
really
that's
put all that
mixed
stuff
and
on
stuff,
there.
but toppings.
All right, let me give you guys one more. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Not mixed in the ice cream.
Bomb.
As
I've tried that. That is excellent.
Bomb.
Do
I
it.
respect it.
Highly recommend. Any cereal, Fruit Loops also good.
Say
depending
Golden
on the ice
Grams
cream.
would probably
Golden
make a lot of
Grams,
sense,
Golden
yeah.
Grams
Corn
Banks.
Pops.
Did you get that crunch?
You got
Yeah.
a crunch.
Graham
I like
cracker.
crunch.
Yeah.
Graham cracker.
But it comes to
Um,
toppings, man. Very few things go together as well as like vanilla ice cream and hot fudge.
I like hot fudge also.
It's
I like
that hot
caramel.
cold.
Yeah,
contrast,
I like
it's
the
really good.
caramel to be liquidy too. Like,
Yeah.
but I love
nice
sprinkles.
and gooey.
I like me some rainbow ass sprinkles. So,
My first tax-paying job was Dairy Queen.
oh man, I haven't had a blizzard in a long
I
ass
used to
time.
do the blizzards and the cones and all that. Yeah.
I love Dairy Queen.
All right, I love shenanigans. What else you got, Dev?
All right, rapid fire time. Winter Gamer says rapid fire cheese edition. Yellow or white?
Yellow.
Yellow,
Yellow.
Yellow. Solid or melted?
Melted.
melted,
Nacho or queso?
nacho,
Nacho.
String cheese or cheese slices?
string
Slices.
cheese,
String.
Do not give me no.
and none of
damn
this off-brand
cheese
string
slices.
cheese. Some polio ass string cheese for me.
Cottage cheese, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Hell no.
Yes,
I used to love it when I was a kid, and I don't anymore.
so good.
Yeah. Plain cheese cream or flavored with fruit?
Cream cheese.
Cream
Regular
cheese
cheese.
plain.
Yeah, just
plain,
regular
plain.
cream cheese. Throw on a bagel, good to go. Swiss or provolone?
Provolone.
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 Yeah,
That's an easy one.
and I love Swiss cheese. Just to be clear.
Of course, Swiss cheese is good in the
Yeah,
right
Swiss cheese is
meats,
great.
but provolone is the sub sandwich like base.
Yep.
Yeah, we've heard your sub sandwiches.
Gotta have a provolone.
Shenanigans.
Oh baby, that's right.
So this one I was really confused with. It said on cheese steak, cheese whiz, or any other cheese.
Cheese whiz is a thing that they
Cheese
put on
whiz.
cheesesteaks. Yeah.
That's the standard cheese steak.
People
the
don't
shit?
know that outside of like that region, but yeah, you can get cheese whiz cheesesteaks.
Cheese
and they're
whiz,
really
or
good.
usually it's provolone or
It's
American.
provolone or American. Yeah.
And it's
the
cheese
rest
whiz.
of the country gets provolone American, but
That's because that's not a cheesesteak like in the same
Exactly.
way. It's different.
I remember explaining this
Cheese
to
whiz?
Rebecca, and I was
Cheese whiz is dope as hell.
because she's from Pennsylvania, and
But she's not from the Philly part of Pennsylvania,
Right.
and it is very specific.
Yeah,
and
cheese
regional.
whiz is a thing, and it's really good though.
It's salty as hell.
Don't
and
hate
it's
it.
So good. Yeah, it's good. You gotta have it.
I'm just
Don't hate it till
very,
you try
very
it.
confused. You
It's
gotta
really
remember,
good.
there ain't no cheese steak out here. We don't.
That's
No.
the
I know you
thing.
live in
It doesn't
California. You put
exist.
avocado
There's
on
no
everything. I don't
cheese.
know.
I
what
would
to
figure
think
like
about
when
that.
you were in
I hate
Cleveland, you would have
avocado.
come
It's
across it.
flavorless. Mush.
You didn't come across it in Cleveland at all.
No.
Ah,
You
Cleveland,
gotta
really?
get that. You gotta get that steak sandwich on the corner. The guy with the little push cart, man.
Yeah.
I was in Maple Heights, bro. There was no push cart man on the corner.
Jesus. We got one more here. I like this
So,
last one.
cheesesteak or cheesecake?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Cheesecake.
I
That's definitely-
actually will cheesesteak. I prefer.
Cheese-
I don't love cheesecake. I
Cake.
like every once in a while, but I want the steak.
Cheesecake.
I
Salt
love sweets.
Cake.
Salty
I love
before
sweets
Don't
all the
know that
time.
I love it more than cheesesteak.
A good cheesesteak is fucking amazing. And
No, I
have
don't do
access.
onions, so I do.
I like onions.
I do grilled peppers and mushrooms on my cheesesteak. Get a little
Yeah,
Worcestershire
Also
there's no-
delicious.
on the West
on it,
Coast.
maybe a little au
There's
jus.
no cheesesteak.
Oh my
Also delicious.
God, it's so good.
Also good. Winter Gamer, thank you. I love me some cheese questions.
Cheese.
Yeah, but I think we got time for like maybe one or two more.
All right, cool.
It's a new year.
So Crucial Chase, I think this is a good question here. He says, "Do you think our generation, Gen X or millennials, is the last gen of hardcore gamers as we know it? It doesn't seem that most games, full-priced premium games, are marketed to kids or teens."
I'm gonna say
Right.
no.
I'm gonna say no because look at like Pokemon. Those come right at kids, and those and Zelda and Mario and like
they,
Nintendo
though?
Nintendo has held this up over time, and they.
I
continue
feel
to
like
roll
that's
with it.
marketed to us, and then we also make our children play it.
Pokemon is one of those games that my girlfriend's kids and my kids are pumped every time a new one comes out. Like they are, and they know.
8-year-olds buy Pokemon and they buy like multiple copies of Pokemon.
I think Nintendo is literally holding this market up by themselves, almost still
I
carrying
think-
those kids through.
From experience, I think most kids just play mature games now.
That happens too.
The kids aren't really trying to. The kids who play Pokemon.
Third
yeah,
graders
our
doing
kids-
GTA, man.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They play GTA and
Yep.
Gears of
Yeah.
War.
Call of Duty.
So it's
Yeah.
just
But
different.
isn't that a byproduct of the fact that we're all
They're-
gamers and our kids are just gamers?
That's I think
now?
there's some also I think that it's like become an acceptable. I was talking to my son about this. When I was a kid, you got made fun of for playing games. Kids now, it's like socially acceptable to play games.
I
so
never
they all
got made
play
fun of
games.
for playing games.
I
I
did
never got made fun of
mercilessly.
either. Really?
I did. Yep.
'Cause you're a
it
girl?
was like
Huh.
it was considered nerdy at the time. Like all the boys who I knew who played games kind of did it really on the download.
I could see it
too.
being like a lot of boys
What?
doing it and making fun
Yeah,
of
when
I
I
know
was a
that
kid,
happened.
Super Nintendo era games, a lot of people did get made fun of. Now it's like if you don't play Fortnite, you're not cool.
That's
it's
so
like,
I mean, like,
strange.
in my
I didn't know
neighborhood,
anybody who
most
wasn't
of us
playing video games
didn't
as a
have
kid.
video games, so the
nobody
kid that
had
had
them.
video games was like really cool.
cool
Everybody
guy.
want to be their
Yeah.
friend.
that's funny because only the nerdy kids wanted to be their friend, and all the cool kids, nobody played games. At least where I was from, like no one who was like on the football team or who like in middle school who like they never played games. They went and played basketball. They went and played football. Like there was
Oh, I
never.
did both. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what it was.
some people did.
Played football outside and came inside to play football in the video game.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
a
kinda
lot
how
of what
it
I
is
grew up
now.
with
Got to
was
play
like.
with Tecmo Bowl. Got to play
Well,
with
when you look at it now, like everybody plays games. Every kid has at least one way to play video games, so it's become so mainstream that I think that has shifted everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not so
I think a lot of the games are marketed at us, but they know that we're going to also have our kids playing.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
the buying power, so they're marketing towards us because they know we'll buy the stuff, and then
Yeah.
we get our kids into it and try to find something that's kid friendly for the games as well.
yeah.
My answer is also no, and I agree with you. I think the big AAA games he's speaking of are marketed at people that have the money to buy them.
Which is 25 to 40
And,
right now.
But I think that maybe the reason that somebody might feel that way, not saying that Crucial Chase is the reason why, but I do think that you're seeing a younger generation, they're more apt to subscribe to stuff short term, to hop and jump multiple subscriptions.
Yep.
So I think you're seeing the free to play model be more adopted with them, especially as they kind of come up with mobile devices. Like my kids have always had Netflix, they know Roku, like that's their life.
Sure.
So I think because of that, they're more willing to adopt something like that. They want games that are cross-play, that are free to play, that they can all play with their friends, that they can play on any device they want. They want that kind of freedom. So you might be having that, like if you're sitting from our chair looking at it, that might be a reason why somebody's thinking that. But I don't think that's becoming the core demo by any means, because that the money's not all there.
The money still comes from people in the 25 to 40 generation of
I
we
just
are
think
the
you're
ones
seeing more of the market kind of skew that way. And before it was maybe 5%. Now it might be 25 or 30%.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
don't
don't
think
think
the kids
that
are going to
means-
bug us to get them the skins.
That does happen, but I don't
Damn
think that
kids.
it means the death of like the AAA game being marketed to younger people. And I think Nintendo is already holding that up. They prove every release that they are the ones with the ads on TV, you know, because they can put them on, you know.
And it's weird because you see, we know that PlayStation's writing a service, and we see a service like Game Pass where they're like blending those markets.
Yep.
Where it's a premium subscription that costs several $100s, but you know you're getting AAA stuff.
Yeah,
Let
exactly.
me add this caveat to this. I think what plays a strong part into it is the fact that we're kind of the first generation that really grew up with gaming and never left.
Especially when you think about gaming in your home.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between, like, when we talk about gaming, there's a huge difference between I had to go somewhere to play a video game versus I just have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
and
the
there's
art.
also the fact that
arcade.
it's all connected. Like our kids, they look for that free to play stuff, for the easy access stuff, because they're
They wanna
playing with
talk
all
to
their friends.
They
Where
want to talk to their friends.
We're playing by ourselves and then
Correct.
talking about it on the playground or getting beat up over it like Elaine. Getting made
Or
fun
having
of.
friends
I didn't
come over
get
and play
beat
I
up.
feel so bad for Elaine. I have this
I got
picture
made
of
fun of.
poor little
I had,
Elaine being teased.
I had a really hard time in middle school, but like we used to sit and with the phone cord and stretch it into the other room and talk to people on the phone for hours. These
Right.
kids jump on an Among Us lobby and that's their social time.
That's their
They
phone.
get on Fortnite.
That's
Leave
their
themselves. That's their. They get on Fortnite, leave themselves in the lobby, and just chat. I've heard
hang
my
out.
son
Yep.
do this off and on. It's just what kids do now. It's just different, and this
It
is the easiest way to do that. So, you know, the rules of engagement have shifted, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. So
Third grader Elaine, little Elaine Striker.
I was
At least I
trying-
can beat Metroid, you dork.
Let's go to the arcade and play
This
some
is
Street
why-
Fighter, son.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
go.
I took some teenagers out. You want to go? Let's go.
Still playing Street Fighter. Played last night.
And
So
it's
damn
still good. It's still
Great game.
good.
Great game.
Very good.
I think unless anybody's got anything to add, that'll do it for this week. I'm glad to be back. I feel good to be back. I missed you, goobers, so much.
Yes.
I very much enjoyed
Bring it in
hearing
the new
that
year, baby.
that intro song again.
I liked saying my welcome. I like feeling it feels good to be back. I think a break was warranted and it made me feel recharged. And I think just kind of like Donnie said, shutting down some of the discourse and just putting it away and just enjoying what I want to enjoy is helping. So just hot pro tips for your new year, kids. I think that's going to do it for this week. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Until next week, play some video games, y'all.